What's up, people? Doing a little overview on a budget knife here. This is the, excuse me, I had to get a drink there. Bad Blood Knives, Persian. I think it's just called the Persian or something like that. It is a David Mosier design, manufactured for Bad Blood Knives. It's a Chinese-made knife. The blade steel on this one is 8CR 14 MOV. The handles are G10 that have a pattern. I do like the texture of this G10. It is it's pretty smooth. It feels good in hand. The pattern creates a little bit of grip, but I actually don't think the G10 is that bad. I don't really care for this pattern's kind of wonky, but I don't think it's bad. Lockup is, it's a liner lock obviously, is about 50-60%. It has steel liners that are not skeletonized, steel spring clip, and a steel backspacer. Overall length of this is like 9 3/4 or something around there, and the blade length is 4 1/4 inches. Satin blade, obviously. It is a flipper. It does flip without any wrist. And I definitely think this blade looks pretty badass. I don't care how wide. I don't really dig how wide the actual edge is on the knife, but the overall blade shape and grind on this knife I think is pretty sweet. It looks pretty mean. But that being said, the flaws of this knife that I can find are, it's actually pretty ergonomic. I like the comfort of the knife, besides the fact that this flipper tab is sharp. I did take some sandpaper to try to rub down the edges a little bit, knock them down a little bit, make them less sharp. I need to do it just a tad bit more to get it all good, but it definitely came pretty freaking sharp out of the box. In the choil, gripping it in the choil, it's also comfortable. It's not bad. Normal grip and reverse grip are both comfortable with this knife. It is rather large, and it does have, you know, a substantial amount of weight to it. Like I said before, the liners are not skeletonized, and it is a large knife with a large blade, so there is some weight to this. The jimping is pretty much useless. It's not very grippy whatsoever. You get a little bit of grip out of it, but not very much at all, to be honest. There is some up and down play to this knife. Not a crazy amount, just a little bit. So if that bothers you, you might want to not get this. But I did spine whack the knife after I felt that, mainly because it's a $40 knife and I don't care. But I spine whacked it off a 2x4, hit it pretty decent. The lock does not fail. There's just a tiny little bit up and down play. So side to side, there's none. But I have the pivot tightened pretty decently tight. It is pretty off-centered. I can obviously center it with the pivot, but when it's centered, there's a substantial amount of side-to-side play, which irritates me. I don't really like any play at all, but the up and down actually bothers me the most. A tiny bit of side-to-side I can deal with, but it can definitely be, there's no play. I'd rather be off-center and no play, and like I said, it still flicks with no wrist. Straight up and down, it'll flick. So it's actually not that bad. It is on nylon or Teflon washers, whatever. Besides that, 40 bucks. Guess I can do a size comparison. Is it worth it? That's up to you. Me personally, just for the blade, the looks of it, do I think it's worth 40 bucks? Yeah, probably not. I probably could have done without buying this, but I wanted to check it out, so it's no big deal. But it is a big ass knife. I mean, there's a large Sabenda up next to it, so it's a big knife. It has some issues, but I mean, you're gonna expect that in a $40 knife. So if you don't mind a little bit of play or whatever, it looks cool. I think it has a pretty nice design blade shape, and the grinds on that knife are nice. The G10 is comfortable, but like I said, it has play, and you know, I did have to do a little work to make it really comfortable because the flipper tab was sharp. So Beyond that, it's not a horrible knife. I definitely think it's a good beater probably, but it is what it is. But that's just my opinion on it, guys. I just figured I'd throw it out there, give someone an overview in case anyone else was interested in picking one of these up. But that's it, and I am out.